Hi, David here with SuicideFishing.com, Suicide Facebook, and Suicide TV YouTube. I apologize for the background noise, but we got some traffic. We haven't been working on the boat lately because it's typhoon season in the Philippines, and so over on the eastern side of the Philippines, that's where all the typhoons hit. And when they hit land, they go north, south, sometimes right through the middle, and they cause absolute devastation over there. And but luckily here in Palawan, we're sort of in a typhoon-free zone. But what we do get, instead of the heavy winds and destruction, we get flooding. And so we'll get, just like this last week, we've got probably JR, and my trusty confidant holding the camera, expert in most things that I'm not, JR Padero. And here's JR. Here we go. Always a smile, and I'll come over here. Good times. Anyways, so we just get this heavy wind, and then once every 30 years, like last year, we have one that'll blow through here and cause devastating damage. But that's once, just only the old timers know about these because they'll remember the devastating ones. So, anyways, so we got heavy rains. One of the other nice thing is we're in a non-volcanic. They say we're in a non-volcanic zone or no earthquakes. We're between Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia up to the north, Korea, Japan over to the, and so and then we're in to the west of us, or to the east of us is the main part of the Philippines. So we don't get tsunamis when there's earthquakes. And they say we're an earthquake volcanic-free zone. I beg to differ. We do have hot springs here, which have a tendency to lead me to believe that there's volcanic activity near the surface of our great island here of Palawan. So, with all of that being said, haven't been out here much doing anything. And so, and it's sort of a blessing in disguise because we got some new projects for the work that JR and I do, and on the inside of this building, and so we're able to concentrate on that and make it happen while it's raining here. But we do end up with swimming pools up on top here. This balcony, and then around the front, we get water likes to pour through the light sockets and blow up light sockets, and then computers get blown up, things like that. So we got to work through things like that. Anyways, and we get caught up in that, and then we have a tendency to forget about things that we should be doing, but we really don't forget. It's called anxiety. You're sitting there and you're going, oh, what do I got to, I got to get on that boat. I made some promises, like to Richard Molina. Made a promise to him about getting him over here and fishing with us. And so we got to step up and make it happen, but it's challenging with the weather. We finally got the yard cut. The grass was growing too tall, and so we finally got that done. It's a little ugly right now. We don't like, and then add the rain. When they cut the grass here, they cut it right down. If you look right here, they cut it where there's nothing there. It's just dirt. And that's just what they do here. And then you go over there, come over here to where the truck is. You see, because of the rain now, it's a muddy mess. Whereas with grass, grass alleviates that. But that's what they do here, and and my Tagalog is pretty good, but not good enough to explain that. So, and as you can see, with rain, we got everything covered here. So we excuse me. So this is the first little time we're looking out, and there's not much rain, and we can tell because the birds will start making noise here, and it sort of is an indicator that the worst is over. And I don't know if you can hear that. I see birds flying around, and so anyhow, so we're going to be diving back at it. We got a bunch of Lazada that's come in and things that we've ordered. Lazada. That's our gateway to China and buying things from China to get, boat parts, things like that. And then what we can buy locally, we buy locally. And so anyhow, so this is what we've got. We've got everything covered, trying to keep the water out of things. The other side of everything here is from the other side. We've sort of been delayed on the boat because we ran out of resin again. We're just using a huge amount of resin on this boat, mainly because we're fiberglassing inside and out. And then every last piece of wood, before it's even put in the boat, is covered in resin and the epoxy resin. And some people have asked me why epoxy resin for fiberglassing, because it sticks to everything. And the other nice thing is it's very, very forgiving, meaning that we make mistakes, we can fix them. And because of this being fiberglass inside and out, there's a lot of blemishes, a lot of things that we do, and as you probably have seen in some of my other blogs, some of the blogs that JR and I have done, you see, wow, there's a little gecko right there, just swung out of there. Oh, off he goes. We're not seeking perfection in the work we do. What we're after, the aesthetics. We're doing things and then we hide the aesthetics, the things that don't look good, the blemishes. We're able to hide them under fiberglass. We're able to hide them in between the bulkheads, things like that. But what we're after is perfection, as close to perfection, where it's visibly can be looked at from under the boat, outside the boat, inside the boat, things like that. So so that's, but structurally, everything we've done is structurally sound, and as some people have pointed out in my blogs, overkill. But you know what? I'd rather have overkill than have a rogue wave hit us at a couple different angles, and we find the bow of the boat floating away from us. That's something I'm always conscious of, and the irony of it is, it's never the boat operator or the owner that gets himself hurt or killed. It's always someone else that happens to, and that's always been my fear since my time rafting with my cousin Glenn Luman, rafting with his Sotar boats in southern Oregon from when I was about 16, 17 years old. And so anyways, so that's, safety is paramount. We're waiting for life vests, trying to figure out what to do with life vests. We don't want these big bulky ones they have here. We want, I prefer the ones that are the law enforcement style. They're heavy duty, sort of utility style, but small and compact, and it won't affect your fishing when you're jigging in the boat. So anyhow, so that's essentially where we're at. We've got the work that we've had to do, and it's sort of like I said, it's been a blessing in disguise because we've had other priorities that popped up. And as any of you know, if you don't take care of your priorities, your family, your work, whatever priority you may have, you can't. This means nothing. All of this means nothing. And so, so take care of your priorities. Hug your children, hug your wife, hug your husband. Yes, there are female boat builders out there. So, anyways, but that's ultimately it. One of the other things that we're planning, we want to put an awning here. We've got this, and it's great, but it's still. I'd like to come out here in the pouring rain, have my cup of coffee, enjoy the sounds of the 4 o'clock club in the morning, and relax. Rain or shine. And so, thinking about putting an awning, corrugated roofing over here, maybe this direction from the balcony here, and then the same angle going up to the office there, so we can back the boat trailer in here. It'll be covered here. This will be, as you see all these motorcycles here, got these, got over there. We have more. Every once in a while, we've got extra vehicles here. So we need to make very good use of our space here. And so once this is out, the sawhorses will obviously be out of here. Plywood, all of this extra cohoy, which in Tagalog is wood. Believe it or not, the majority of this is cocoa lumber and Gemelina and mahogany. And so we'll have this out of there. We'll have this organized over here. We'll be able to park effectively here and have an area where we can come out and enjoy the shade when there's a hot sun going on. So, anyways, I think that's about it. I don't know, JR. Anything you want, JR? You want to add anything to this? Let's see here. What do you want to add? JR, he's just, he's always got a smile on his face, always in his mind, and he's quiet. Have you ever seen a woman when she's quiet? She's just looking around. Now most men are smart. They're like, uh-oh.
Oh, we're in
trouble. That's a dangerous woman. JR's definitely not a woman, but he sits there and he looks around, and I've seen him under some stressful conditions, and I know a little bit of history about him from Mindanao. Over there in Mindanao, things get real, but I think he's migrated over here to Palawan, where there are less insurgents, less people killing each other, and I know. For those of you that don't know the Philippines, there are insurgents here. There are Muslim insurgents. There's good Muslims, bad Muslims. There are good people, bad people. There are Muslim groups killing other Muslim groups here. There are we have insurgents that are from, and Marawi proved that, correct?
Yeah.
They've got Middle East insurgents here, and the fighting is changing. It's evolving to be much more like Afghanistan and Iraq, so and so there are areas of the Philippines that are very dangerous. There are areas, doesn't matter if a white guy is Muslim or not. If he's Muslim, he goes there, he's still in danger. It just, for those of you that have been in Iraq, like old timers, they would understand this pretty well. And so, But yeah, so JR comes over here, and he's I think he smiles. My point is this: JR is here. He's not there in Mindanao anymore, and he smiles a lot more here. And when JR's quiet and he's looking around and he's got that serious look, that concerns me. I'm like, all right, JR, what's up? Because I don't like it when he's serious. I like it when he is laughing and smiling. And so, yeah, anyways, I don't know. Sort of reminds me of a story of this guy I knew, a dear friend of mine. He's actually he's dead now, but his name was Aline Balahim, and he was a Muslim imam to the south of us, and he was just, and he was like JR, just an small, super small guy, and just smiles all the time. You wouldn't even know he was Muslim. He's just smiling, happy-go-lucky. His wife and was the same way. Small guy, but his wife was tall, and and she, and obviously, he was an older guy. His wife was very old, but extremely beautiful, and so they were from Mindanao. And over the years, I learned more and more. As he got to trust me, I learned more, and not from him, but from his family. He was an insurgent, a fighter over there, and he's off running around fighting government forces, and he was successful at it. He was apparently well sought after, and the guy, he's out there doing his thing, chasing government troops around, trying to do what insurgents do, and he happened to lay eyes on this beautiful girl, and here's the power and influence of women. He started courting her, and he quickly fell in love with that woman, but she, the power and influence of women, she told him, you're going to stop killing government troops, and you're going to stop toting a gun around, and you're going to become a family man, and I'm going to give you lots of children. So he's like, this guy was a commander, right? And so he stops everything and he moves over here to Palawan where it's peaceful, and now he has a ton of children, and a ton of grandchildren, and I think he's got some great grandchildren now. He was just a really good guy, and irregardless of his past, and just a happy-go-lucky, smiled all the time. He had smiling eyes. You cover his face, and you could tell he's just that kind of person. And so, but one thing I can tell you is, even though he's the greatest guy in the world, in my opinion, he was a really, really good smuggler. I used to buy all my diesel from him, and I didn't realize it, but he would take his boat to Malaysia, and he had a speedboat that had inboard diesel engines, and from what I understand, and he would go to Malaysia and he'd get Malaysia diesel, big blue barrels of Malaysia diesel for like a third of the cost, and bring it back here to the Philippines and sell it. And he chainsaws, whatever. He was like a grocery delivery boy. You just place your order and he'd go over there and get it for you. And so that's where all my diesel was coming from for my boats. And so, anyways, but then every once in a while he had to pay the tax. The Coast Guard would get him, and they'd take everything that he had brought over from Malaysia, because this island is just the tip of this island is Sabah, Malaysia, and so, which is the area of I guess Kota Kinabalu is in that part of Malaysia, Borneo, also on that same bit of land, not too far is Indonesia. And so, but he would get his supplies there. Coast Guard would catch them, and those Coast Guard guys, they weren't dumb. They'd leave him with a barrel of diesel so he could get home and begin his operations again. And so anyways, but yeah, he was just a super, super nice guy. And while he was here on Earth, I enjoyed my time with him. And so, but yeah, back to why I'm mentioning that, because he's all smiles, but an extremely dangerous guy. And so, so I'm sitting here thinking, you're from the same area. You like wearing, what's this? Does this bring back memories, the color of this? Green, you can hide in the jungle real easy. So, anyways, yeah, subliminally, my years in the military, I picked these subdued colors, subdued gray, and it's never really flashy or anything. And I just think it's subliminal. You just grab this. And anyways, so JR, do you have smuggling capabilities?
No,
I'm sure you have other capabilities that for whatever reason, I've heard stories about you. I'm getting an idea of what some of the things that you've done over there.
I'm a good guy.
I can attest to that. He's a good guy. And I firmly believe that some of the trouble that he's had was due to principle, meaning that I don't care if you think it's wrong or right. He just holds his moral compass is true. However, if wrong, and that moral compass sort of stands out, over there you got to be a little more open about your feelings, whether you're wrong or right. Greg, here you can just sort of smile and never mind, this problem's going to get out of my face in about 3, 2, 1, bye-bye. Over there you try doing that, people follow you. So anyways, so it's much better over here in Palawan, and that's where our base of operations are for our work and fishing, and soon we need to do some more vlogging for fishing.
Yeah,
I know. It's just and I went out last Sunday, and I think it was about I guess 2 Sundays ago. I think it was about a 13 kilo ruby snapper. Yeah. It was big, and I don't know what's going on. These normally these rubies will fight up through half of the water column, maybe a little bit more, and then they stop fighting, and it's just a matter of pulling them up. But recently, they have been fighting all the way to the top, and I believe it's because of the weather. Whenever it's raining, that's a low pressure. It creates pressure on the ocean, which creates more pressure down below at depth. And these fish, their bladders, the air bladder, doesn't expand as much as you bring them up through the water columns towards the surface, which means that they're still capable of fighting. Versus during parts of the year when you're pulling them up, there's no low pressure. Bladder fills up with air halfway up, and then the fight's over. And so I've been misidentifying these fish, thinking that they're maybe a dogtooth tuna or a liwit. Liwit, which is they call them black scabbards here. You probably heard of the silver scabbards, black scabbards. And so, but but anyways, we need to get out and do more of that. And so that's the plan. The boat we have now, it's, I'm actually building this boat in part due to guilt, because I feel guilty. The goal here is, I've got a boat. It's, my brother-in-law has it. and it's over in Boom. It's just inconvenient for us, and it only holds 2 people. It's a small boat, but it's one of the funnest boats I've had. I've had 3 boats. I've had big traditional tuna boat here, and we go out and we'll catch. Oh, I don't know. We'll catch 500, 700 kilos of yellowfin tuna. And that's a hard boat to maintain. It's difficult. It's difficult keeping your boat crew together because most of you guys that work on these boats are heavy drinkers and they're hardworking but heavy drinkers. And when you're trying to get them on the boat, you got all your supplies. You got 3,000 to 5,000 US dollars of supplies and diesel on your boat, and then they don't show up to go out. And especially when you got ice. And ice is expensive here on this island. It's really, really expensive. It's one of those commodities that, we're lucky to have ice plant here. And so it's expensive. And when these guys don't show up, that ice begins to melt. And we need this ice to last, 3 to 7 days. Sometimes 8 days. I've been out on a trip for 8 days. And then I've had a medium-sized boat, and again, it was difficult to manage. The small boat, my brother-in-law, he's a fisherman, he has it, and so, but it's an inconvenience. So back to my guilt, I feel guilty. We can't. I promised JR to go out and go fishing. We can't, and so we're building this thing, and we're gonna have it right here. The boat launch is not more than what. 400 meters, 500 meters away, and when how many mornings do we not wake up, how many mornings we're here working and we're like, too dark to work, too early to work on the boat because the neighbors, and it's like, we can't go fishing because it's inconvenient. Plus my brother-in-law, he fishes at night, so we can't really get it, and then, it's just, and then because it's a smaller boat, it takes us an hour and a half to get out to our fishing spot and an hour and a half back. So there's 3 hours, and a lot can happen in the office for 3 hours, during those 3 hours. We just we're sitting there bored to death. We're going to double check everything, check our emails, make sure that we have a signal, and then we're going to go. We're going to go over there. Yeah, because we can have the boat in the water in 10 minutes. We could be in our fishing spot in another 15.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have a big enough area that I could actually check this out. JR, we've talked about putting the disco lights, disco ball, the casting deck will double as a dancing area, we got stereo, and we're going to put the strip lights. I've wired it for strip lights to where I can have green, red, blue, white, and then if you add music, it goes, So I'm thinking, we forgot a very important part of this. This thing's going to be wired with Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the Starlink.
We need a flipping desk on there. So when I get a phone call, I can sit down and do some work. If you got a phone call, you can concentrate on that. But you got to have some really good noise canceling software on that headset and blur the background, or the San Francisco green screen background. And and what we got to avoid is that those 2 words that happen. Fish on! What's that? Oh, it's a ringtone. And so, anyways, so there's an idea, a desk. What do you think? We build a desk. Center console could
folding desk.
Folding? Yeah. Well, we can make I wanted to do like folding beds on the side, but we can, I don't know. We got to figure it out. It was going to be only for 4 people. but I'm doubling. I'm going to put fuel tanks on both sides in the back against the transom, and there'll be padded seats there. But I'm not sure how long the padded seats will be there. Then I might do a live fish well, but that will, and the U.S. Coast Guard, I believe this should hold 8 or 10 people legally. In the Philippines, it's like canned sardinas.
Sardinas,
right?
yeah.
And the capacity is whatever you can get on the boat without capsizing it. And so when my Filipino friends come by and they look at it, oh, malaki.
Malaki, yeah.
Yeah, it's big, and then what's the no capacity? And I say 3, 4. And they're like, no, you get more now. You get a lot of people on there with fishing rods now. That starts getting irritating, and so we'll make it to where we can have 3 or 4 fishing rods, and then a rooting section. The people are there in support of us, and part of I'm going to eventually put an Android head unit in there. And because, you bring the wives along, you bring the women along, they're bored. Are you done yet? No, one more. Here's the thing. You ask a woman, and I'm not being, why is it? Oh, just 5 minutes, half an hour later, just a little bit longer, Cannot figure out why it takes so long to put on lipstick. I don't understand that. Do you understand that?
No.
Okay. Well, I guess it's going to be the same thing. Okay. They're going to have to sign. Any woman getting on my boat is going to sign a waiver, understanding that one more cast means probably 2 more hours. Okay. One more drift. And so, especially when they're your wife, it's not going to work because they have special privileges, special powers. The laws are not laws; they're mere guidelines. Okay, and so how do you pacify that? You got to have a video system, right?
Yeah.
And so they can watch
Netflix. You're gonna have
Netflix. Yeah, they're Korean drama series, and I've sort of been watching some of those Korean, and they're actually sort of funny. Yeah, I get sucked into that sometimes. So I'm gonna be sitting here jigging, watching Korean drama. That's like, whoa. Yeah. And next thing I know, my pole gets yanked out of my hands, and it's gone. Anyways, but yeah. So yeah, Korean drama. Yeah, just different movies, and so. We're thinking of that, and I know we're gonna have children on there, so we're lucky. We have Filipino wives. They're very, very, very patient. My wife's Ilongga, and they're even when they're really mad at you, they're still loving. They you agree with that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. All my Filipino friends. Hey, can you introduce me to an American girl? And I go, do you want to do? I better stop right there. Are you an expert in laundry? Can you do everything? Yeah, and Filipino men they cook, they clean. To all you girls out there, Filipino men cook, they clean, they wash dishes, they do their laundry. It's amazing what these guys. American woman that picks up a Filipino man, I'll tell you what, it's outstanding. Anyways, yeah, but that's a secret.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah. So I've come over here now. I'm independent. I don't like people doing things for me. And the reason why, it makes me feel weak. It's like, no, that's my job. I'm capable of that. But the people here, Mabayet, are very kind and hardworking, and they push in. Oh, ako, meaning me. I'll do this for you. I'll be working on my motor on the side of the road, and some Filipino pull over and effectively push me out of the way, and they'll start working on my motor for me just because that's their attitude. And they're just that's the reason why they're famous in Western countries for being extremely hardworking. And so, anyways, this blog is getting pretty long.
Yeah.
You need to add something to this. How was Mindanao?
Mindanao is great.
To all of his friends and enemies, Mindanao is great.
Yeah.
His friends and enemies in Mindanao. Yeah, so I'll give you an idea of what JR does. JR is an IT, and his skills are extremely valuable. He's one of the most loyal guys I've run into over here. Yeah, absolutely. He's been patient with us and helped watching us grow, giving his insight, making sure everything is operational. And recently we had one of our Canadian clients. Not recently, I guess it's been about 3 or 4 months now.
4 months, yeah.
So we were setting up the computers to talk to each other. It's one of the largest casinos in Canada, and I don't want to mention much more than that because we got our disclosures we've signed, and we're dealing with money, and so we got to have some extremely secure facilities, not just computers. We got to have outside here physical fence. We got to have cameras everywhere. We got to vet our workers. And that's not just one time. We continuously vet to find out if there's any problems that have arisen since they've been hired. The girl you saw earlier is one of those people, and JR takes care of all that. And so we were setting things up with this company, and they had their executive IT spear up because he was involved because of the distance, Philippines versus Canada, and then this is exactly why I love having JR here, because I don't know what he did over there in Mindanao, but he came very, very, very skilled to us. And you got ITs that are like, they're like nurses, maybe nursing aides, but JR is the flippin' doctor. he performs surgery, on these computers, and that's true. He takes a motherboard out, and he's got all these tools in this big. It's like a black doctor bag you've got. He opens it up, and he's got little blowers. He's got he fixes these things, and he does soldering on them, and so and he saved us a huge amount of money just in doing that. And why do you have to do that? Because we just don't have the resources to, we can't go down to a computer store and just buy what we need, on the spot. And the computer store has 300 of those one particular items out of hundreds of thousands, right?
Yeah.
So they have to manually fix things here. That's what JR does. And networking, I've just, and then, so this is what's crazy. I hear, I see all of his skill sets, and then I hear some of the other things. Like, this doesn't make sense. But welcome to the Philippines, Absolutely love JR. Love to have him with us, And you remind me of some of these special forces guys that are everyone wants to be one, but they don't want to deal with the garbage. And you've been there, done that. You embrace the sock.
Embrace the sock.
Anyways, we can have a full-on flipping typhoon going here, and you don't want to go outside because you're being afraid to get hit by flying debris that's going sideways. And JR just shows up. He rides his motor through this shit. Oh, no problem, boss. And so, anyways, back to the Canadian casino. So whenever we have a new client, he's in charge of the security and make sure that everything's in place. And this Canadian, so the executive IT and they've got a huge amount of employees and a huge amount of infrastructure and hardware they have to manage, and they contract out their IT work. And so JR, he spends, I don't know, was it 2 or 3 days setting everything up and then monitoring. And the next thing I know, I get a phone call from the executive IT, and he says, "How would you guys like to have all of our IT work?" I'm like, I'm completely out of the blue, I mean, we have to work our butts off to prove ourselves, and then we get opportunities. But ITs, those guys are weird anyhow. They think differently. X's and O's, or no, O's and X's. No, that's the love thing. X X O O. No, that's romance. Never mind. What's ones and zeros?
Ones and zeros.
Yeah, they think ones and zeros. They don't think like us normal people. X's and O's. Where did I come up with that? Not cool. Anyways, so anyhow, and of course, and I'm always leery. I'm, due diligence, and it's like, well, okay, what does it involve? I mean, I like what I'm hearing, but obviously we need to know what's involved, and we can find the talent. And he goes, "Listen, JR obviously knows what he's doing, and we're willing to put this together and take the time, and we will train JR, and JR can train the talent." And so, which is great, because we can have a fresh grad IT, that doesn't know, and everyone knows, anybody involved with IT work knows that you're either gifted or you're not. And many of these ITs are not educated. They are just highly driven and motivated, and they're fascinated with this stuff, and they just go out and learn it, and they suck it up. Their brain's like a sponge, an IT sponge, sucking up those ones and zeros, at the expense of those X's and O's. So, anyways, yeah. And so, but they say the nerdy boys get all the cute girls. You want to know why? Because they earn all the money in the end. And so, anyways. So, and I hope I don't trigger anything. I've said a few. I've been here for the last 13
years.
13 years. Yeah. So all of that woke stuff I'm hearing about now. I'm like, man, I like the Philippines. I love the Philippines, and we're not woke over here. The millennials here are actually like X generation. They show up to work in typhoons, right? Yeah. So and so now we've started the we didn't know exactly what was involved, but they're gonna remove all the contracted workers, and we are taking over their IT work, and it's just help desk, service desk stuff. It's it's not what is that, full stack. Yeah. But now we've broken into the IT market, and we've got some up and coming IT work because of this, and we absolutely love working with companies like this who see talent, what people are capable of, and give them opportunities. And I can't take the credit for that. This guy right here is also helping be responsible for all of this behind me, And so when I say I feel guilty about not taking care of JR and going out fishing, I do. This is, so we're going to get this built. Not, I'm getting too old to be crawling in and out of these traditional bunkas, but we're going to go out and we're going to do things properly. And my wife, this is a secret. Let's do this. I don't want to say this too loud. Yeah, my wife thinks we're building this boat for the company. Yeah. And we're suicide fishing. She knows I'm an addict to it, but at first she's like, And remember what I said. To get started, just buy your lumber, throw out in the yard, and before long your wife's going to go, "What are you going to do with that?" You know how wives are. you can do with that lumber? You got to do something with that lumber, you know. And the grass starts growing up around it, and you're like, oh shit, it's gonna get rotten or something, you know. And so you begin building, you know, and then then your wife is, when are you gonna spend time with me?
Finish the boat.
Yeah, finish the boat. And so then you know, and they digest. It takes time to build a boat. Everyone out there knows that. So, and then, you know, and then it begins to, okay, all right, you know, and we, you know, JR and I, we tell them, oh, we're going to take everyone out island hopping. We do that anyhow, but we always use someone else's boat. And so island hopping, fishing, things like that. And you know, and we're growing. We're adding more and more people to our company. And, you know, it was a while ago, I walked up to her and I said, hey, because I said, hey, Suicide Fishing 1 is about finished. I think we need to start planning on Suicide 2. And my wife blew me away. She says, you hire more people and you need more space for another boat? Okay. And I'm like, what? Document this. Did everyone hear that? She said it was okay, you know. So Suicide 2. So we got to finish this, and so I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do for the second one. I may just do the traditional Albion Dory, but we may do a bigger one, the 23-footer, and I can't remember the name of that one, but it's got the higher sides and it's just a bigger boat, and it's a work boat, you know. So, but you know, consistency and aesthetics. It'd be nice to have Suicide 1, Suicide 2, Suicide 3, all stacked up next to each other, and they all look the same, right? So, a fleet. A fleet. So, anyways, but no, all jokes aside, I truthfully, I just want to get this one done and get out and go fishing, and then when the time's right and it feels right, I'll buy another load of lumber and throw it out here in the yard. Yeah, wait for the grass to grow around it, and you know, you ready to be a boat captain?
Yeah.
So we got to jump through all the hoops to become for boat captain, because we haul people around from our company. It's considered a commercial operation. So we got to get the radios in, the life jackets. We got certified. Want to make sure we do this by the book. You know, for all the requirements for safety. And then I just found some foam, 2-part foam, and so I'm going to buy some of that and experiment with it before I fiberglass this. And even if I do fiberglass it, I can drill a small hole in there, and I might be able to foam up the under the deck and the bulkheads, and if that's the case, that just adds to more. It's unsinkable, you know. It'll float at water level, but at least, you know, it's somewhat of a, you know, it's just one big life preserver.
Yeah.
You're hanging on to while wearing a life preserver, and so excuse me. So we'll see what we'll do there, and so if we can just get this rain to stop and and I think. Don't we have another typhoon? We're okay. So I think, all right, and it's physically warmer here. We do have a little bit of sunshine through the haze, and so I believe we're going to probably in the next 3 days. By Monday we probably are going to dive back into this, and then but these typhoons form in real short notice, and as you know, they spin, and they have these big arms that come out, and they spin, and what we begin to see is we'll get a wisp of rain, and then sunshine, and then as that other big arm of the typhoon, you know, and these things are hundreds of miles long, just so you know. So we get hit with these things, and then as it gets closer, they're more frequent, you know. And then, you know, and this is, we're talking over in Luzon, 500 kilometers away.
Yeah.
You know, it's things, you know, we're affected by that still here, and depending upon where it's at will determine which direction the rain comes from and the wind. But it's minute, but we still get the effects of it. And so it leaves Luzon. It comes over from the east side of the Philippines. It hits the landfall on the east side of Luzon. It's devastating. It's just very, very devastating. And so what happens is, as you know, hurricanes as well as typhoons, when they go over land, they lose power. And so they lose power over Luzon, and then they hit the Sulu Sea, and it begins to gain power. So the Sulu Sea is what's between Palawan, where we're at, and Luzon, which is the big island of where Manila, Philippines is at. And it starts to gain power, and by the time it rolls over us, it has lost the majority of the power, but it's starting to gain because we're a big, long, narrow island. I think it's, at points it's maybe 10 kilometers across at points, maybe 15, 20. Yeah. It's longer and a narrower island. So our island doesn't slow it down at all. So it hits the Sulu Sea, and as it's moving across the Sulu Sea and hits Palawan, by the time it hits Palawan, it's gaining speed, but it is not devastating. We just, like I said, we get these warnings on our phone. We'll be in there, and there's 20 phones in there going, and then the warnings, you know. And so, and that happens several times a year, and many, many times during a single event with a typhoon. And so it passes over us, then it hits the South China Sea, goes over the disputed, when we're just a stone throws away from China and the disputes and the problems they've got there with the Spratly Islands. But the Sulu Sea, or the South China Sea, there's a wide body of water there, and it gains. So from Luzon over the Sulu Sea, and then over us in the South China Sea, and then by the time it hits the east coast of Vietnam, Thailand, those areas, it is again devastating. And so we're in this little no man's land, no typhoon zone, you know, and we just get these heavy rains that we have to bear and work through. So that explains what's happening with us right now. And so hopefully, and like I said, it's been sort of a blessing in disguise. I'd rather have this happen now when we don't have resin, and you know, and we're busy with work because of the new projects. And and it looks like we're going to be back on track on Monday. So hopefully the resin will be here, and we'll experiment with that foam and see what we can do. So anyhow, JR, in closing, anything you got to say? You just like smiling. Don't agree with me. Just what's on your mind?
You said it all, the boss.
What?
You said it all.
I know. That's because I talk a lot. You know.
Yeah.
So what's your take? Just give a little take on something here. You know. You know. Have you ever handled a baby Armalite?
Yeah.
I knew it.
I know.
Don't incriminate yourself. Don't incriminate yourself. A baby Armalite is the equivalent of an M4 military weapon. Don't tell me what you did with that thing, okay? You're never in the military?
No.
Oh, yeah. Ay, not cool. All right, yeah. All right, anything but that topic. What do you have to say? What do you got to say?
I use baby Armalite for fishing.
Really? Bullshit. Yeah, what kind of? No, well, I don't. Let's say what kind of fishing. Don't answer that.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of fishing. You know, you put a 1,000 peso bill on the end of a fishing line, throw it out there, and someone picks it up. You know, they're fishing for a future wife or girlfriend. There's fishing for fish. And then fishing's considered hunting. I don't know what you're hunting for, but don't say it here, okay? All right, no, okay. You enjoy fishing.
Yeah.
With a baby Armalite, yeah. Okay, so, and?
That's all.
That's all. Okay, all right. So, hey, this is David and JR with
SuicideFishing.com.
Suicide Fishing Facebook.
Suicide Fishing TV on YouTube.
Like, share, and subscribe. And I know this is a long vlog, but I hope it's been interesting. Give a little more history about what's going on, what happens here, and in the Philippines, you know. And so, but please, hey, like, share, and subscribe. You know, I hate blogging. He's the guy that I do the blogging. He does all the editing and all that stuff. And you know, and I tell him, just, you know what, we're real. We could make absolutely perfect vlogs, but you know, the reality of it is it's not real. I mean, it's great. It shortens things, keeps the viewer engaged. So we may have less engagement because of this. But what you see is what you get. You'll see the tired me, the overwhelmed me, the me that doesn't want to do any blogging. But, you know, when I don't blog, I got people saying, oh, what's going on, you know. And as you can tell, this is how long it's been since I blogged. Look at this.
Me too.
Yeah. In Tagalog, this is called balbus. Okay. Yeah. And what's this called?
Bigote.
Bigote, or a goat. Yeah, bigote. Then balbus, you know. And then if you don't have any hair, it's calbo. Those are all Tagalog words. So anyways, yeah, it's been a while. And so, but I grow this Santa Claus beard very quickly. And we don't have high quality razors on this island, so sometimes I let my skin rest, you know, and let this grow, and it grows until my wife complains or I can't stand it anymore. I also grow this thing when I go down south and chat with my Muslim friends, because it's definitely it garners more respect, believe it or not. And so some of you will know what that means. So anyways, but yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Sunshine on my shoulder makes me happy. So I can build my boat. All right. Go out and build a boat. Buy your lumber. Throw it out in the yard. I'm going to combine two things here I usually say at the end of my videos. And when your wife complains, go up to her and hug her, tell her you love her. That serves two purposes. Yeah. You know, she'll go inside and fix breakfast and with a smile. So anyways, this is what mine does. Anyhow, so go take inventory of what you have. All right. Things could be so much worse. So much worse, you know. Take a look at your family, make those phone calls, you know, go face to face, you know, write a letter, you know, something that's meaningful and it's physical and measurable and you can look at, and tell your family you love them, all right? Because you don't know if in the next few minutes after listening to me and all my BS and JR's interesting Mindanao stories, you don't know when that may be the last time you do that. So say something. Go out there and do it. and you'll be surprised what you get back in return. Surprised how that works. Don't let your pride and your ego. I know my ego, my pride. I've got some scars from my pride and ego. And so, the older you get, the more these things have meaning. Okay, so I would highly suggest that. The other thing I want to suggest is I want you to have a safe and wonderful day. Take care.
Bye-bye.